because John Heyman tweeted, hey, man, just a little while ago.
Hey, man.
That the Brewers have a waiver claim in on Matt Harvey. They have until 1:30 to make a deal. So, never know. Matt Harvey could be on the move again. We will follow that for you or see what John Heyman says.
Yep.
Tonight, Baltimore Yankees take on the Orioles. It'll be Sabathia and Cobb. We'll have it on the fan for you at 6:25 with the pregame coverage. Yankees 9.5 back of Boston in the AL East. They lost that half game as the Red Sox did beat the Indians 7-0. David Price turned in a solid night. Twins over the A's 6-4. Yankees remain 4, or rather pick up a half game on Oakland, now 4 ahead of them for that top wild card spot in the American League. Meantime, at Citi Field, it was a day game. The Mets were going for the 3-game series win over the Giants. Could have taken 3 of 4. Instead, they settled for a split.
Bumgarner struck out looking his first time. He hits it hard, and that's a base hit, and that'll bring in a run. Slater is in to score. Hundley to third. He'll be held up there. It's an RBI double from Madison Bumgarner, and the Giants have a 2-0 lead.
And that's Gary Cohen on SNY. They would wind up winning 3-1. Bumgarner, not only did he have that RBI double, also 8 sharp innings. It's interesting. Jeff McNeil wound up going 1 for 4. And his first 2 outs against Bumgarner were hit really hard. Then he did get a base hit the third time, but Bumgarner was as good as advertised. Evan Longoria would homer in the 8th. Here was Jacob deGrom. He goes 6 innings. He allowed 2 runs, 1 earned over those 6. He struck out 10, did lower the ERA a shade. He was asked, you had mentioned the Cy Young last hour. We were talking about that. He was asked if he was extra amped up with the umpire because of the Cy Young race.
It had nothing to do with the Cy Young. It has to do with being out there competing. You make a pitch and you think it's a strike and you want it to be a strike, and it wasn't.
And what he's talking about, there was a called ball 4 on Nick Hundley right before the Bumgarner RBI double that should have been strike 3. He looks back, he knows he didn't handle it well.
I got frustrated, which I probably shouldn't have. Probably should have kept my cool a little bit and focused on making a pitch. And, like I said, I wasn't able to do that.
And so they go 2-2 in the 4 games. The Mets take on the Nationals tonight. Jason Vargas, Gio Gonzalez, your starters. Jay Bruce expected back in the lineup, or at least with the team. Braves did shut out the Marlins 5-0. We mentioned it all morning. Ronald Acuna Jr., another home run hit by a pitch, again this time by Javi Guerra. The Phillies blanked the Nationals 2-0. Aaron Nola, 8 innings, 15th win. Odubel Herrera, a home run. Speaking of home runs, these guys certainly enjoyed this one. Rockies, Padres, it's 3-2 San Diego, bottom of the 9th. Man on base for Ian Desmond.
Story at second, the pitch driven towards left, going back, and this one is gone! Ian Desmond!
You like the guy clapping in the background? Yeah. That's tremendous. So that's Rockies radio. Desmond, the game-winning 2-run homer, as Colorado did beat San Diego 4-3. Football, preseason football. We've got the Jets and the Giants at MetLife Stadium in the Meadowlands tonight. Coverage on WCBS 880. Here is Todd Bowles. What does he want to see from Sam Darnold?
Progress from last week. I mean, each week he's been progressing, obviously, getting his reads right. It's not that he go 20 for 20 or 10 for 10. It's just a matter of him seeing the defenses and making the right plays.
He said something last week, Boomer. You weren't here. He said the hash marks being so tight compared to the college game makes it much easier to read defenses. Make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, you get you have a. How do I explain this? So in college, because the hash marks are so wide, the defenses usually play to the wide side of the field and things of that nature. But because these are so much more narrow, that they have to be more balanced in a sense. So it's a little bit easier to read. But the things that you run into when you play like a team like Gio's team, the Minnesota Vikings, Mike Zimmer. He is a defensive coordinator by nature, but he's a head coach. He is telling his players the skies, the skies, the skies. Show one thing, play another. And the more veteran a defense you play against, the more likely you're going to see tougher reads. And it'll be interesting tonight playing against Betcher's defense. They tend to be a little bit more aggressive, but I don't think they'll show a lot. The one thing I will say, playing against the Detroit Lions opening night, they're not going to do a lot defensively because that's not the way Matt Patricia plays. Matt Patricia plays it more basic and more sit back and make you go 14 plays, 80 yards. And figures you can't do that, especially with a rookie quarterback. So very rarely will they blitz a lot and things of that nature under that scheme. But I understand what Coach Bowles was talking about. I would just say that they think that he's on the fast track to start. That's the way it feels, right?
Yeah, it does. I mean, if anything else happened, I would be very, very surprised. Just on Bridgewater, especially McCown. I mean, right now I feel like it's like 80% Sam Darnold's going to start week
unless
1.
something happens where he just doesn't get it or just goes out there and just completely falls apart, which doesn't seem to be his makeup. So
Yeah, just pick on Ogletree tonight, Sam. That's all you got to do. Because just get a one-on-one with a tight end and throw it into the end zone, and I guarantee he'll be open.
Preseason football last night. Browns beat the Eagles 5-0. I'm going to play this clip. Sounds ridiculous, I know. It's long. It's Merrill Reese and Mike Quick. The Eagles, hopefully for them, have avoided a mess.
Ertz comes in motion from right to left. Foles pitches out to Smallwood. Not much room, but he cuts back and makes room across the midfield stripe, across the 45 and down at the 43. And the Eagles have another first down. And this is after stopping the Browns 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, but they've got a problem in Jason Kelsey comes up really limping on this play.
Oh, wow.
Now, he needed help coming off the field, and it looked like a serious injury. But this morning they're saying they don't think it's, anything crazy. But to the point of these guys playing in preseason games, why they don't want to.
Yeah, I wonder what that's like coming back after a Super Bowl when your team's never won a Super Bowl from a fan perspective, and then going into this year, how you feel about the season, I mean, I always thought about that. If the Vikings ever won a Super Bowl, how would I feel about that
You
next
give the
year?
team a pass and just enjoy the season and whatever happens.
Would I not care at all? I'd be into, like, the fantasy stuff
I think
more.
you're still into it, but it's not as...
But like a loss, you'd be like,
Let me ask you this question. What are the Patriot fans' expectations every year?
well, to win a Super Bowl.
Yes, but when they
can't
won
they
the
be yours?
first one, but I think when they won the first one, that next year was kind of like, hey, we got it last year. It was awesome. Now it's just like they expect to win every year.
I think Philly fans are hoping that Carson Wentz can come back and be the guy that he was last year. Now, it's going to take a little bit, but if he comes back, then, and he plays like he did last year, then obviously they're the odds-on favorite. But can he recreate what he did last year coming off of that knee injury?
I think to Greg's point, though, is really just a matter of how do you handle a loss.
Yeah, like the fans, like, are you so... Like, it's got to be a little bit of the edge that's taken off of it after you win a Super Bowl. There has to be.
I think
Especially
so.
when you're a franchise who never won one. Then you won it like that. Like, you're thinking, all right, you lose a game, fine.
You know what the weirdest feeling was as a football fan was in '92 when the Cowboys won the first one that I saw. I remember sitting there after the game was over, and I was like, now what?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Like,
saying.
I'm not getting a ring.
Right.
I'm not getting number 8.
Yeah, they got another one.
It's like, they got 2 more after that.
Then I
And
was
the
gonna
next,
say, then another one.
right. So, but it's a weird feeling of just nothing.
And I don't know what that feels like at all with the teams that I root for. I have no idea.
Let's go to Eric in Woodbury with a very probing question. Eric, what's happening?
Eric.
Morning, Boomer. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. What's happening?
I direct this company. As an athlete growing up on Long Island, I followed your career both collegiately and professionally, and I have the world of respect for you as both an athlete and a human being. Unfortunately, I can't say the same about your sidekick. I'm speaking on behalf of a number of listeners who feel very, very put out by the fact that your criticism of Mike Francesa and his show, and we're not necessarily biggest fans of his, but it's veiled, it's transparent, and it's very, very petty on the part of Gio. And to the extent that you indulge him and laugh at his, this contributes to it. You're an enabler. So I appeal to you and to your character to be a little bit more forthright, a little bit more defensive of Mike, who doesn't need your defense.
Right.
But I think Gio needs to be put in his place.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Eric.
They're extremely jealous. I mean, they always have been since the day they walked in here.
Yeah, Boomer.
I'm sorry. Sorry.
You enabler.
Yes.
Enabling son of a bitch.
Well, look, if you, never mind. What do you got there? What else?
Here's David Fizdale with Bruce Beck on NBC4. He knows others have failed, the predecessors. It's not an easy job here in New York with this club.
I respect the guys that came before me. They just didn't accomplish what they set out to do, and I'm here to accomplish that.
Failed miserably. Is there a reason for
He didn't
optimism?
say that.
No, I did.
I know, but you've
said it too.
No,
No, I did not. I'm just adding to what he said. That's all.
Well, it sounds like you're adding
Losers. No, I'm kidding.
I'm right there with you. Can we get a Jeff? Mike D'Antoni had a nice run.
He had a good year.
I mean, he would have been good had they not traded for Carmelo, and
look where he is now.
Yeah, I know. He's back with him. It's just
Go
crazy.
figure. Is there a reason for optimism going forward?
It's already happening, you know. Kristaps is going to come back healthy. He was already having a big-time season last year when he got knocked down.
Bruce asked him more about KP.
Do you think that Kristaps will buy in with this new regime?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Kristaps is excited. I'm telling you right now, he's excited. We have fun.
I like this guy. He's
No,
fun.
I like him too. I'm really happy that they hired him. But I mean, is he going to buy into the new regime?
Well, he says he's going right at him.
You know, I think he likes the challenge of me saying, I want him to be the MVP. I want him to be Defensive Player of the Year. That's, you know, real competitors, they want that.
I think you would agree with that, right, Boone?
100%.
Want the pressure?
What about your bonehead owner who said that Kristaps was going to miss the entire season?
You didn't ask him that.
How about that?
Little League World Series, Staten Island loses to Georgia 7-3, so they are eliminated. Second round Northern Trust at Ridgewood Country Club in New Jersey underway. Kevin Tway, Jamie Lovemark, Vaughn Taylor, Sean O'Hare all at -5. O'Hare tees off in 8 minutes. Phil Mickelson has moved to -4 with a birdie on one of his first couple of holes.
You know what? That place is awesome. I had never been there. That's a beautiful golf course, man.
That's all. Is that the one off the Garden State Parkway?
Yes, it's 27 holes, and they take 18 of those 27, obviously, to make the course for this particular Northern Trust. But I had no idea. The clubhouse is beautiful. The golf course was tremendous.
Some pretty good gems in Jersey there,
Yes,
Boom.
who knew, right?
Well, these guys did.
We live there.
It is Boomer and Gio on the Fan. Gio and the Enabler on CBS Sports Network. Adorama and Nike.